where we are pulling right back the curtain on literally one of the most recognized companies in human history. We're going to be looking at the sheer psychological mastery behind Coca-Cola. Because, here's the really fascinating truth. Coca-Cola spends endless billions on advertising every single year, but they will almost never actually try to sell you on their physical product.
Coke doesn't actually sell a beverage. They sell an idea. They sell happiness, harmony, togetherness, and all those good memories. They've perfectly positioned themselves not as a massive multinational corporation, but as a reliable, comforting fixture in your everyday life. Basically, an old friend.
Which brings us to the central mystery of this explainer. How do you become friends with sugar water? I mean, really think about it. You do not build a global empire selling carbonated sugar water by focusing on the physical reality of the drink itself. No way. You build it by constructing an absolute psychological fortress. And to understand how they built this fortress, we've got to go all the way back to the very beginning.
Section 1, Medicine to Everyday Pleasure. Back in the 1880s, John Pemberton, who was a veteran struggling with a morphine addiction, created a patent medicine containing wine and cocaine. When Prohibition hit, he swapped out the wine for carbonated water and just massive amounts of sugar to mask the extreme bitterness. And boom, enter Coca-Cola. And this brilliantly illustrates their massive psychological pivot. Initially, they actually pitched it as a harmless, wonderful brain tonic. But to escape a heavily scrutinized, flooded fake medicine market, they brilliantly shifted to a brand new narrative, just a tasty, relaxing drink. By doing this, they did two huge things. First, they expanded their market to literally everyone, not just sick people. And second, they safely distanced themselves from the patent medicine industry, which was right on the verge of facing massive legal scrutiny for selling toxic snake oil. When businessman Asa Candler took over the company, he didn't just rely on a catchy new slogan. He pioneered a total marketing masterstroke. He contacted pharmacies, got lists of their absolute top customers, and then mailed out free coupons for a trial of Coca-Cola. He literally gave away the product so people would become customers for life. He was getting people hooked early on a drink that contained addictive chemicals, while simultaneously plastering the Coke logo on barns, placards, and billboards everywhere you looked.
Section 2. Anchoring to American patriotism. Because to become an untouchable global icon, Coke knew they needed to anchor themselves to a national identity. And the strategy here during World War II was just genius. In 1941, despite heavy nationwide sugar rationing, Coke actually lobbied for, and won, an exemption by claiming they were an essential morale booster. They promised every single soldier a 5-cent Coke, happily taking a financial loss to secure a priceless psychological payoff, making sure soldiers associated Coke with America itself. By 1945, the US military had essentially acted as a global tax-funded sales force, helping Coke build 64 overseas bottling plants. However, there is a pretty jarring contrast to this wholesome patriotic image. While preaching US patriotism and supporting American troops, the Coca-Cola company was actively supplying Nazi Germany. Germany was a massive, massive market for them. So, as wartime restrictions made it impossible to import Coke syrup into the country, the head of Coke's bottling operation there had local chemists create a completely new drink from leftover scraps, things like apple fiber. That drink was named Fanta. It became a huge hit in Nazi Germany, and after the war, the profits flowed right back to Coca-Cola headquarters. They were entirely focused on global expansion, making absolutely sure they had a foothold regardless of the geopolitical situation.
Section 3. The cradle-to-grave strategy. Because once they had established that global presence, the next step was ensuring generations of unwavering loyalty. And it's all about psychologically conditioning consumers from the absolute earliest age possible.
To bypass advertising rules that protect kids, Coke practically infiltrated everyday life. They paid schools thousands of dollars a year for exclusive vending rates, effectively blocking out any healthier options. They heavily utilized Santa Claus to permanently link their brand with the pure magic and joy of Christmas. They produced Barbie dolls and board games. And in 1982, they literally bought Columbia Pictures just to guarantee their product was placed directly into family films.
Now, what's really interesting about this is the calculated, almost chilling intent behind it. Just listen to this quote from a former Coke marketing chief. It's far easier to get them at a young, vulnerable age to become a Coke customer for life than try to convert them later on when they're older. The strategy is highly deliberate. By weaving the brand into the fabric of childhood, they create this deep, emotional bond that is incredibly difficult to break later in life. Section 4. Deflecting the health backlash.
They really needed that emotional bond because by the 1980s, a massive cognitive dissonance was emerging. Coke's wholesome image was completely colliding with a mountain of growing scientific data linking the sugary drink to serious health crises like obesity and diabetes. To give you an idea of the sheer data they were facing, studies found that consuming just one extra sugary soft drink a day gave children a 60% greater chance of becoming overweight. For a brand entirely built on wholesome goodness, this kind of undeniable medical data was a catastrophic threat. So what did they do? Well, rather than significantly changing their core product, Coke went on the defensive, borrowing a playbook straight out of the tobacco industry. They created a smokescreen. They poured hundreds of thousands of dollars into funding their own favorable scientific studies just to cast doubt on the negative health data. They used their vast wealth to lobby politicians against sugar taxes and threw billions into sponsoring elite athletes and events like the Olympics, creating a very powerful psychological illusion connecting sugar water with peak athletic performance.
Let's move to Section 5, the ultimate branding proof, and see how this builds up. Because all of this emotional anchoring was about to be put to the ultimate test, climaxing in the 1980s with what initially looked like the biggest disaster in corporate history.
It all started in 1975 with the Pepsi Challenge. Pepsi launched this brilliant campaign giving people blind taste tests of Pepsi and Coke. And the data was just undeniable. Slightly more people simply preferred the sweeter taste of Pepsi. Coke denied it publicly, of course, but when they ran their own secret internal tests, they found the exact same thing. Coke was slowly losing market share and panic really started to set in. The physical data showed they were losing the taste battle. So Coke went on a highly secret mission to engineer a brand new, sweeter formula. They ran rigorous blind taste tests with hundreds of thousands of consumers. The data was absolutely crystal clear. The winner? Their new formula, New Coke. Pepsi came in second, and Original Coke was dead last. From a purely logical, data-driven business perspective, the decision was obvious, right? Replace the old formula with the new one that people biologically prefer the taste of. So they did. And the public absolutely lost their minds. The backlash was completely unprecedented. Phone lines were jammed with thousands of furious calls every single day. People were literally booing New Coke ads in stadiums. One actual complaint letter read, "Changing Coke is like making the grass purple. You've taken away my childhood." This was a completely irrational emotional meltdown. It wasn't about the physical taste at all. Most people complaining hadn't even tried New Coke yet. It was about the fact that Coke had positioned itself as an old friend, this unchanging American icon. Consumers felt deeply, personally betrayed. After months of relentless protests, Coke caved. They brought back the original formula under the name Classic Coke. And immediately, the public anger turned into sheer euphoria. Fans sent adoring letters, sales of the original Coke absolutely skyrocketed past Pepsi, and they never looked back. Businessweek called it the marketing blunder of the decade, but it unintentionally solidified Coke's invincible status. It made consumers realize just how deeply attached they were to the brand itself. So the crucial point is summarized perfectly by this concept of the brand illusion. In blind tests where they didn't know what they were drinking, people rated Original Coke last. Yet when the labels were back on, they demanded it back with furious passion. They overwhelmingly demanded the drink they biologically liked the taste of the least. Coca-Cola's marketing had successfully created an image in the consumer's mind so unimaginably powerful that it completely overrode physical taste, logic, and scientific data. Which leaves us with this final thought to consider. We love to think we make logical choices based on quality and facts, but Coca-Cola's history proves that when you sell togetherness, nostalgia, and identity, the physical product almost ceases to matter entirely. So look around at the things you buy every day and ask yourself,